look great. Hey, today we're looking beyond the headlines of several heartbreaking stories. Our first is a tragedy of monumental proportion. You've all seen and heard the news of two very young boys who were recently convicted of bludgeoning their father in the head with a baseball bat. Y'all know the story I'm talking about? Okay. It's a tragic story. It's loaded with controversy, starting with the fact that these two little children were tried as adults. Take a look. It's a sad and twisted story of two boys, Alex and Derek, in and out of foster care, virtually abandoned by their mother, now charged with the murder of their own father.
Would you say your name, please?
Alex David King.
How old are you?
13.
I've been an assistant state attorney for 20 years. I really never anticipated that this case would get this much national attention.
Circuit Court is reconvened. You may be seated. Maintain order.
Terry King is the father of Alex and Derek King, and he was found dead. It appeared that he had been beaten to death with some sort of blunt object. Later, his two sons confessed to the police that they did this and that they did it with a baseball bat.
So when he went to sleep, I got the bat and I hit him over the head somewhere around 10 times, the left side of the face and the forehead.
One of the most controversial parts of this case, the 13 and 14-year-old boys were being tried as adults. Murder wasn't the only crime. The boys were also charged with arson. They confessed to setting the house on fire.
When I woke up and just lit the bed. And the bed had several blankets, different blankets on it, so we knew that it would be a good murder itself.
But the story doesn't end here. A shadowy figure loomed in the background. His name is Ricky Chavez, a convicted pedophile who allegedly had a sexual relationship with young Alex and is thought by many to have been involved in the murder.
Did you at some point believe that you were in love with Ricky Chavez?
Yes, sir.
Ricky Chavez was a local mechanic who did what pedophiles call grooming the family by helping out around the house and winning favor with Alex and Derek's dad. That is how he got his hooks into little Alex.
Alex, did you have a sexual relationship with Ricky Chavez?
Yes, sir.
When did that begin?
I don't know.
Did it begin before your father's death?
Yes, sir.
How long had it been going on before your father's death?
A long time.
Did your father know about it?
I don't think so.
Where would Ricky Chavez have sex with you?
Several places.
Did he ever have sex with you at his home?
Yes, sir.
Did you want to live with Ricky Chavez?
I did.
Days before the murder, the boys ran away and stayed with Chavez. What happened next becomes fuzzy, to say the least. One version of events is that while the dad dozed in his recliner, the boys beat his brains out with a baseball bat. A second theory is that the boys opened a locked door, letting Chavez in, where he took the baseball bat and killed the father. He then coerced the boys to believe that they should confess so that all of them could now be together. Recently, Chavez was tried and acquitted, while the two boys were convicted of second-degree murder and may face spending the rest of their lives in the penitentiary. With me now are half of the jurors who sat in judgment of the boys, and via satellite, David Rimmer, the man who prosecuted both Chavez and the two brothers. The jurors have some strong criticisms of David Rimmer in particular and the system in general. I'd like to welcome everyone. David, can you hear us okay?
Yes.
All right, good. Now, I'm interested in having you all kind of talk about this. The three of you were on the jury that sat in judgment of these two boys in Pensacola, Florida, correct?
Yes,
And do you stand by your verdict?
we do.
Okay, so you think that convicting these two boys of second-degree murder as adults and putting them in prison possibly for the rest of their life is a just result?
Well, that's not really what we wanted to do or what we really wanted to say. We thought that the boys were there and they were a party to the murder, that they let Ricky Chavez in the house, but we felt that they were principals, and that's why we convicted them of second-degree murder.
Okay, now, one of you was the presiding juror, correct? Do the two of you agree that this was a verdict that you stand by?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm confused here about two things. What possible complaint you could have with the prosecutor, David Rimmer, and what it is that you have a problem with. That's not what we intended, if in fact you brought back the verdict that you wanted to bring back. I mean, David Rimmer is a prosecutor. His job, if he takes this case, is to present the evidence, and if the state's position is that these boys are culpable, his job is to convince you to bring that verdict back, and it sounds to me like that's exactly what he did, and you say you stand by the verdict, so what's the problem?
We didn't get all the evidence, for one. We didn't find out about a lot of the evidence until after we were done and we had come to our verdict, and we went home and people started interviewing us and we heard about the other trial. And we always thought that Ricky Chavez did it. And when we found out later that he hadn't been convicted, we couldn't believe it. We were outraged. We took the little bit of evidence that Mr. Rimmer presented to us and tried to come up with what we thought happened. His scenario was just outlandish. If you listen to the testimonies and you listen to the boys, you can tell that their testimonies were coaxed. Those weren't really that wasn't really what happened. Someone told them what to say.
So you think that the prosecutor withheld information from you?
Yes.
Do you feel that way too?
Most definitely.
Do you feel that it was withheld from you?
Yes.
Okay. David, what do you have to say about that?
Well, if I understand what they're saying, it seems like they're upset because they were not informed that Chavez was acquitted. I think that's what I'm hearing. But that's evidence that, you know, they should not have been considered anyway. And all the lawyers involved and the judge, we all agreed that those verdicts should be sealed because we didn't want one jury to be influenced by what another jury did. Each jury is supposed to base their verdict on the evidence presented to them in the law and not by knowledge of outside activities. So we specifically did not disclose that fact to them, and it sounds like that's what they're upset about.
All right, did you, David, as the prosecutor here, were you convinced in your mind and heart that these two boys did it?
Yes, I was. And I was also convinced that Chavez was involved to some extent. And like I argued to this jury, I believe that he was the motivator who encouraged or incited the boys. Now, I respect their verdict, and I understand that the facts and the evidence is subject to different interpretations, and that's okay. I don't have a problem with that. I understand that. The jury worked hard. I respect their verdict. I respect the time and effort they put into it because the facts were certainly subject to various interpretations.
Is this a just result, in your view, for these boys to get convicted of second-degree murder as adults and for Chavez to be back out on the street?
Well, I believe the verdict is just, yes. Now, Chavez is not back out on the street. Chavez has been in custody continuously since he was arrested on December the 11th. He has two other charges pending against him, one in which he's charged with committing lewd and lascivious acts on Alex, and he's also charged with being an accessory after the fact to the murder and tampering with evidence. So he still has charges pending, but I do believe the verdict is a just verdict.
Do you believe that those boys swung the bat and came into contact with their father's head?
I believe that Derek swung the bat. Yes, I do. They both gave detailed confessions describing the crime scene and what happened very, very carefully. As a matter of fact, Alex was able to describe not only the sound of the bat hitting his father's head, but also describe the sounds his father made as he was dying.
But wasn't there considerable, I know that there were some death mask rattles that they described that you kind of, a child wouldn't know that. So, I mean, I think one could conclude that they were there at the time. But I'm curious as to whether or not, is it true that there was forensic evidence that suggested that the pattern of the wounds and the impact of the wounds suggested a much larger and taller assailant?
Well, not in my opinion. I mean, I think the defense argued that, but the wounds were all consistent with having been inflicted by a baseball bat. There was testimony that a month before the murder, Derek was using a heavy sledgehammer to beat up an old junk car and was having no problem handling that sledgehammer. Therefore, you know, in my opinion, he could handle a aluminum baseball bat just as easily. But, you know, the evidence is subject to different interpretations, and I understand how the defense approached it. It was different than the way I approached it.
And I'm going to ask the jurors about some of their questions in a minute, but I also want to know if you have any qualms at all about the fact that these two young boys were tried as adults in this case. Because, I mean, I have a son that's 15 years old. At 12, I can remember him still playing with toys. You know, they're kind of on that line where it's girls 1 minute and toys the next, cartoons 1 minute and a movie the next. And it's hard sometimes to get your mind around that. And then you add to that the fact that these boys were clearly being exploited and manipulated by a very dangerous and unseemly character in this Ricky Chavez. Are these boys victims here of a system that failed them and failed to protect them, or should they spend the rest of their life in the penitentiary?
Well, I don't think they're going to spend the rest of their life in the penitentiary. Because they've been found guilty of a lesser charge than first-degree murder, the judge now has discretion, and the judge can impose juvenile sanctions or youthful offender sanctions. The judge has great discretion now to impose a sentence that the judge feels is appropriate.
What will you recommend as the prosecutor?
I'm not going to recommend anything. In fact, I told the judge yesterday during a hearing that we had with defense attorneys present that I was not going to make any recommendation. The judge has heard the testimony in both trials, and the judge is in a better position to fashion a sentence that he feels is reasonable and just. And I told the judge that whatever sentence he chooses to impose, I will accept that. And so I'm going to leave it totally up to the judge.
Are you willing to accept a few questions from these jurors that are here?
Sure.
All right. Next, we're going to talk about how this trial has affected the jurors and find out what they have to say about what should happen to these boys now and what questions they want to ask Prosecutor David Rimmer when we come back. Now we're going to get to y'all. I wanted you to have something to respond to from him. And so y'all...
She said she didn't have enough time.
Katie told you she was gonna die?
She told me.
Tell me, miss, what is it you think you know?
I'm bothered by these drawings.
She shows me things. Everyone will suffer. Don't you understand, Rachel?
The Ring, rated PG-13, starts Friday, October 18th.
If you like a fresher house, raise your paw. If you like a fresher house, raise your paw. If you like a fresher house, don't sit around and grouse. If you like a fresher house, raise your paw.
For a fresher house, all you need is a little paw power and Fresh Step cat litter. Every time your cat uses the litter box, he activates fresheners that neutralize odors better than the leading litter and leave a light, fresh scent.
For freshness we agree, fresh as good as it can be. Now you got a fresher house, take a break.
Fresh Step freshens with every step.
So what'd you have for supper? Hungry man, fried chicken dinner. You? A sliver of trout and baby carrots!
Should have had Hungry Man from Swanson. With a pound of food, it's good to be full.
I don't think of it as my $30 sweater. I think of it as my why thank you sweater.
I like your sweater.
Why thank you.
Introducing Covington, new classics for the whole family. Because all your clothes should be your favorites. Only at Sears. Where else?
You've cared for a lot of things in your lifetime. Your children, your mate, your work, and even your community. Isn't it time you cared for yourself? The YMCA has a special program for people who want help to start and maintain a healthy exercise and eating program. Enroll by the end of October and get 50% off the joining fee and December free. Call 1-866-TRY-THE-Y today. The YMCA, where you begin.
I have a great career in healthcare. I help take care of people every day. In as little as 9 months, Apollo College can prepare you to work in a hospital, doctor's office, clinic, or nursing home. Call Apollo College for an appointment or free video at 1-800-36-TRAIN.
Learn how far your mind can take you with Apollo College.
At this barbecue showdown,
Coming through.
a girl can be king of the grill. And Sandy survived breast cancer. But how about a triathlon? On the next Life Moments.
Watch today at 4 on Coin 6.
The JFK Jr. movie plus Paula with John Ritter next, DT.
To take the fate of these two boys and put them in your hands, it's just like you are playing God.
After the trial, I've gotten to where it's hard to sleep at night, and then it's really hard to eat. The trial and the deliberation were like the worst 4 days of my life.
You just saw Lynn and Molly, two of the jurors who helped convict 13-year-old Alex and 14-year-old Derek King for the murder of their father. As you can see, they are angry and devastated by what has happened. And Glenda, a third juror who wasn't in the tape piece, is here as well. Now, I want to hear from you guys, and I want you to talk to the prosecutor in this. But I just got to tell you, my position in this coming in is I am really troubled by this. I'm troubled by it from a lot of different standpoints. I stand in David's shoes and I think, look, we've had a terrible crime here. A man's life has been wrongfully ended and terminated, and that's not okay. And somebody has to be accountable for that. On the other hand, I see that we've got two children here that clearly aren't thinking right. They clearly don't have the information they need to make the decisions that they ought to be making because this pedophile predator has gotten into their thinking and distorted it. So it's hard enough to expect children that age to appreciate the consequences of their actions before somebody preys upon them and begins to turn and twist their minds. And there's just a part of me that says these kids need treatment. They don't need prison, because let me tell you what problems they don't have now, what hardened criminal edges they don't have now, they're damn sure going to get in the penitentiary.
Yeah.
They're certainly going to get in the penitentiary. And I'm not saying that they should walk away from this in any way. If they were involved in that, then they need to own that and be accountable, but we as a society need to own it as well and do what we can to try to salvage these two lives here. Now, tell us what your problem is, and if you have questions for David, who we just really appreciate your being here, David, by the way. You don't have to do this, and you're being very gracious to share with us. I want you to ask the questions, so we'll start with you. You were the presiding juror in the trial.
One of the things that really concerns me is how he could decide that, or you could decide, David, that here's two children that aren't allowed to vote, they don't drive, they don't drink. What is our definition of an adult? And how are you the one to decide when someone's to be tried as an adult or as a child? We were set impaneled as a children's jury, only 6 of us. So that doesn't make sense to me. If we were a children's jury of 6, how come they're being tried as an adult? Why weren't we 12 if it was an adult trial?
Okay. Okay. All right, and let's hear the answer, because I don't think you're understanding that exactly right. I think that has to do with the capital element punishment-wise. But David, you tell us.
Yeah, that's true. In Florida, all juries consist of 6 people, except in a case in which the death penalty is a possible penalty. Where the death penalty is a possible penalty, then it's a 12-person jury. Now, in the case of Alex and Derek, they were not eligible for the death penalty because in Florida, anybody under the age of 17 is not eligible. So therefore, death was not a possible penalty, and that's why it was a 6-person jury, just like it would be with adults charged with second-degree murder or any crime. And the defense attorneys agreed with that. That was never in dispute amongst any of us.
And David, I think I kind of thought you might object to the compound question that she was asking here, because it had about 6 parts to it. One of it was, what gives you the right, or why are you the one that determines whether these boys are tried as children or tried as adults, and what was your decision-making process if, in fact, you did make that decision?
Well, certainly I didn't make this decision by myself. I certainly consulted, with my supervisors and things, but what we had here clearly was a very brutal murder. It had all the elements of a premeditated murder, and the only way a person can be charged with first-degree murder is by way of an indictment. You know, under the Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution, a capital crime requires an indictment. So this case was presented to a grand jury. The grand jury heard the tape-recorded confessions of Derek and Alex, and I also made them aware of this relationship between Alex and Chavez, and also, you know, some of those letters.
But you and I both know, if I can jump in, you and I both know that the grand jury process is one-sided.
Yes,
you come in and present it. Nobody else gets to present. They don't get to defend. They don't get to say anything about why they should be tried as children. That is a one-sided deal, and it's a setup of community a cross-section of the community for their common sense, and then you present your case to see if there's cause.
That's true. That's exactly true. And that, you know, that's a system that we've had in this country, you know, for over 200 years. And but I don't encourage them. I don't tell them you should indict the way I do when I'm arguing to a jury. You know, I just simply present the case to them, let them decide whether or not an indictment should be returned. I leave the room.
Do y'all not believe that? I think they're saying they don't believe that.
What about if there's two little kids and one of them doesn't like the other and you know it, and he goes over, this 5-year-old, hits the other little boy on the head, and it is premeditated? Are you going to try him as an adult too? I mean, where does it stop? Where does it stop? You know, we were horrified to have to do this. We knew that when we sat down that was the way it was going to be, but you don't understand. We did not want to do this. These kids were not adults.
Molly, did that bother you as well? Yeah. Did it bother you that they were not? You didn't think they should be tried as adults?
Yeah, they should have been tried
as children. And Glenda, how about you? Did that bother you as well?
Yeah, I felt real bad having to go in there and make a decision on 2 young boys' lives that's going to affect them for the rest of their life.
Okay, then why did you all do it? If you did not believe that these boys should be convicted of second-degree murder as adults, why did you return the verdict?
We thought that they were there, that they were principals, that they had, even though it wasn't their fault, they were so caught up in this Ricky Chavez thing that they had unlocked the door. We thought that. They were there and they saw what happened. That's why they could give such a graphic, detailed description of it, but we didn't think that they did it, and we wanted other options. I don't know if this is something that's not out there in the legal world. One of your
options is to not return the verdict. I mean, that is always an option.
But they were there and they were principals, so should we come back as a hung jury? Because that's not really what we thought. We really believed what we came up with was what happened.
Well, what I'm saying is you are complaining to the prosecutor here about what the law is in the state of Florida. The ultimate decision rested with the 3 of you. You did not have to write down guilty of second-degree murder as adults. If you thought, if any element of that failed, well, you knew they were being tried as adults, right? That wasn't something you learned after the trial.
No.
And if any element of that fails to meet your standard as jurors, you don't have to write that verdict down. Is that true, David?
Yeah, that's true. In other words, the jury, you know, certainly had the option of not guilty, and that's why I admire this jury so much.
We have to take a break, and we'll continue with all this in a moment. Closed captioning provided by...
Ever since I had my baby, workouts have new meaning. Meaning I need to do something about these stretch marks. Mederma, skincare for scars.
A judge will hear the audio tape Ward Weaver made in prison. On the news at 5, will he allow it to be used as evidence? Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jeff Gianola. Also on the news at 5, the bitter labor battle has Lawrence Shoreman locked out up and down the West Coast, including Portland, but it's Northwest farmers who may suffer the most. Find out why. Plus, changes in the ozone layer. Well, we'll show you why it's a good news, bad news situation. Tonight on KOIN 6 News at 5, right after Life Moments.
Ireland gave us Riverdance. England produced Stomp. Now come the Americans with the Tony Award winner for Theatrical Event of the Year, the entertainment phenomenon, Blast. Blast is explosive entertainment, a non-stop mix of spectacle and sound. What a cast! What a blast! This show is a pure joy. Blast is breathtaking, a surefire hit.
October 1st through 6th at Keller Auditorium. Tickets are on sale now. Part of the Broadway in Portland series. Welcome by K103 and Delta Airlines.
Enhance your lifestyle with an Arctic spa from Spa Experience, where quality products and service count. Don't miss our 3rd annual Cub Sale with over 65 spas in stock, half of which are the most popular Cub model. You can save up to $3,600 off of MSRP and make no payments until April 2003. Save 25% off all Splash Super Pools and 15% off floor model gazebos and umbrellas. This savings opportunity ends this Sunday at Clark County's largest spa and pool showroom. It's our 3rd annual Cub Sale, this weekend only at Spa Experience.
Yeah, what you wanna be? Yeah, what you wanna be? Here we go, here we go. What you wanna be? Alright. What you wanna be? Yeah, for me, I gotta be me the way it has to be. Yeah, you're gonna be what you wanna be. What you wanna be.
I've been laid up for a long time, and I haven't been able to work because of the accident. Bills are piling up, and I can't work, and I don't know how I'm gonna pay these bills.
If you've been seriously hurt in an accident, you owe it to yourself and your family to talk to an experienced injury lawyer.
The guy who hit me, he didn't have any insurance. What good's an attorney gonna do me?
There may be help that you're not aware of. Find out by calling Susac and Powell today at 227-6722.
A question, why did you try these boys as adults? What was your bottom line decision?
Okay, they were indicted for first-degree murder. Under Florida law, any child of any age who's indicted by a grand jury, the statute specifically says they must be treated as adults if they're indicted by a grand jury.
Did you have to go? Did you have to go the grand jury route?
To get a first-degree murder indictment, I did, yes.
Okay, but that seems circular to me. That seems circular to me. You're saying I had to do it in order to. They had to be tried as adults if we went to the grand jury. And to get first-degree murder, I had to go to the grand jury, which guarantees they're going to be adults. But you didn't have to go to the grand jury. You could have brought the case against them without a grand jury indictment if you had prima facie evidence to support the good faith basis of the charge.
Well, I would have had to charge second-degree murder. I couldn't charge first-degree murder. But yeah, I could charge second-degree murder. But this was a first-degree murder case. And, you know, this is the kind of thing I think that should be left up to a jury. And like I said a while ago, based on the verdict as it is now, the judge now is free. He's got all kinds of options. He doesn't have to sentence him to prison if he doesn't want to. He doesn't have to give him life. You know, he's got a lot of options. The judge is going to weigh everything very carefully, and the judge will arrive, you know, at a proper sentence. And I feel confident.
But aren't you kind of taking the easy way out by not making a recommendation to the judge? If you think that this thing, because it's just got caught up in the system with the grand jury, couldn't you step up to the judge and say, Judge, I prosecuted this case. I did it in good faith. I believed what I said when I said it. But I think at this point, I recommend that these boys get treatment, not incarceration. And I recommend that they be adjudicated as juveniles instead of thrown into a melting pot they will never survive.
Well, the judge may do that, but
that wasn't the question.
I know. The question is,
the question was, couldn't you step up and make that recommendation? Because let me tell you, this man is highly respected as a prosecutor down there. You have a tremendous record in the court. Every judge looks to you as trusted counsel. You could have a major impact on these young men's life at this point.
Well, I appreciate that. But, you know, very seldom do I ever even make recommendations because the judge has heard all the evidence in both cases. That's the thing here. We've got the same judge who was the judge in the Chavez case. He was the judge in this case. He's heard a lot of things that even this jury has not heard. All right. So he's in a better position, and I just think that under the circumstances, it's more appropriate to leave that to the judge. I do that a lot, not just this case, but
okay, well, this might be a good place to break that rule and make an exception. Molly, we have less than 3 minutes with David on satellite, and we lose our window. Do you have a question?
Yeah, how could you try two different people for the same crime?
Well, you remember I was explaining to you the difference between being a perpetrator and a principal. Well, that was the reason I went to trial on Chavez, because in my opinion, Chavez was a principal. And I wanted to argue to his jury what I argued to you, that he was the motivator behind the crime, that he was the one that assisted or incited the boys. But I never believed that he swung the bat. I respect your position that you believe that he did, and that's fine. But I could not argue that to his jury. the evidence was insufficient in his case for me to argue that he was a principal. Therefore, I could not stand up there in good faith and tell his jury that he swung the bat or that Derek did not swing the bat. So I did not do that. I left it up to them.
David, are you going after Chavez at this point?
Yes, I'm going after him for the other two cases.
Now, it seems to me that there could be a great after-verdict balance here if, number one, you went after Chavez and made sure that he was held accountable for wrecking however many lives he's been involved in here, whether it is the murder or taking these two boys and robbing them of their innocence and adolescence with his absolutely perverted mindset. And the second thing that would create what seems to me to be a great sense of justice and balance is for you to stand up and look that judge in the eye and now advocate for these boys that you worked so hard to prosecute. I thank you for being here, and I thank you guys for being here as well. Was it an accident? Next, a mother who believes it was no accident, but was instead a sorority hazing that killed her daughter less than 2 weeks ago.
To watch TV to see a body bag carrying my child, it's pain. Nobody can feel this but a mother. They just said it was an accident. Not so.
Snore Stop, proven effective to stop or reduce the symptoms of snoring. Available in spray and tablets at a store near you. Snore Stop, it works.
Want to lose 10 pounds this weekend? 1048, the Hollywood 48-hour miracle diet. Lose up to 10 pounds safely in 48 hours. Call 1-800-NEW-DIET.
Soy sauce?
Soy sauce.
Berries.
Berries.
Chocolate syrup. You should be stirring that.
Mom, I was stirring.
Coffee? Coffee.
Blueberries?
Yep.
Baby food. I don't eat radishes. You bought ice? Maple syrup. Red wine.
Introducing soft, stain-resistant Lee Performance khakis.
Red wine.
Amazing.
The Bannon's toothpaste stopped fighting plaque before their first sip of coffee. Ray's didn't even make it to his ham and Swiss. You see, most toothpaste can't fight plaque after you eat or drink, when teeth become more vulnerable to bacteria. But Colgate Total is different. Its patented combination of ingredients attaches to teeth to protect for 12 hours, even after eating and drinking. Isn't it nice to know you use Colgate Total? Colgate Total, 12-hour protection.
Uncover fresh, new ideas for the season at the Portland Fall Home and Garden Show. It's all the best for your home and garden, all in one place. Don't miss the Portland Fall Home and Garden Show, starting Thursday at the Expo Center, and make the most of the season.
Looking for perfect TV? Check out the new Perfect TV package with HBO from AT&T Broadband. This is the package you've been waiting for. All your local broadcast channels, the best of cable, HBO with award-winning series and smash hit movies. Cinemax with top Hollywood hits at no extra charge through next September. Digital technology that puts you in control and free installation. Now that's a perfect TV package. All for less than $1.75 a day. Call 1-800-CABLE-ME right now to get yours.
The smartest new cleaning idea isn't another mop. It's new Spick and Span Everyday Floor Touch-Up Spray. In between mopping, simply spray, wipe those little messes away, and you won't have to mop so often. New Spick and Span Floor Touch-Up Spray keeps floors clean in between moppings.
Uncover fresh, new ideas for the season at the Portland Fall Home and Garden Show. It's all the best for your home and garden, all in one place. Don't miss the Portland Fall Home and Garden Show, starting Thursday at the Expo Center, and make the most of the season.
It's hard enough to deal with a personal tragedy, but when it comes to being a headline, it can be absolutely devastating. My next guest says her daughter's death was the result of a sorority hazing, not an accident. Take a look.
My daughter, Kristen, drowned in a sorority pledging activity. They just said it was an accident. not so. Kristen is my second-born daughter. We had such a connection. We were best friends. She loved her baby Skylar, and she was in love with her fiance.
We had a special bond together. I loved her, and she loved me, and we were supposed to spend the rest of our lives together. The Saturday before the incident, she told me that she was blindfolded, put in a car, and when she got out the car, she heard water, at which point her and the other 3 pledges were then made to walk into the ocean. I believe that a similar thing happened on the night of her death.
2 pledges brought Kristen's car back. I asked them for the truth. What happened? And when they began to tell me, the story kept changing and changing. They were saying to me that they were swimming. My daughter hated the ocean. Then the next story was that they were exercising and they were washing themselves off. The next story was they were all swimming and bound together. To watch TV to see a body bag carrying my child, it's pain. Nobody can feel this but a mother. It's pain that will never leave. Skylar says, "Where's my mommy? Where's my mommy?" And I could not answer him. And what do you tell a 2-year-old who cannot understand that his mommy is not going to be there for him? We have filed a lawsuit against the sorority. They must be held accountable. I would like to ask Dr. Phil, what's the steps that we take to make sure that another child, another mother, wouldn't have to go through what I'm going through?
Well, I have to say I'm just stunned, and I am so sorry for your loss, and I know that both of y'all must just be in shock as you sit here now, because it's been just a short time since this happened, right?
That's true.
Tell me why you wanted to be here today.
I don't want another mother to feel the way I feel at this point. I don't want another child to go without a mother to raise him or her in a proper way. I want, number one, the sororities or fraternities to speak out and be accountable of what went on that night. Another thing, I do not want anyone else to go through these rituals, alleged hazing. They told me to say alleged hazing, but I believe it's hazing. And I came to stand up today to tell you I'm organizing an organization, Mothers Against Hazing. And I want to say that not just this sorority, not just any fraternity, but all mothers stand up and band with me to stop this. You know, it's no reason. You know, Dr. Phil, just before I came today, I opened my daughter's bedroom door, and on the back of her bedroom door was her future written down. Number one, she was a senior in college, finish school, go to law school. After law school, after senior, she was going to marry Holman. Another thing, to move out of my house. But she had a future that was destroyed by alleged hazing.
And the thing is that we're not standing up here saying that we're anti-fraternity and we're anti-sorority. You can have your fraternity, you can have your sorority, you can have your secret codes and secret handshakes, but bottom line, you can't kill people.
That's right.
Well, in your opinion, they know what happened, and of course, the position of the sorority is that this was a total accident, that they do not endorse hazing, that this did not involve hazing, and that it was a tragic loss for them as well, and that there's no wrongdoing, and in fact, the police have ruled this was an accidental death at this point, right?
Right.
Okay.
They came to.
Well, I just wanted to put the other side out there,
That's
just
very
so you
true,
know.
but I feel that the LAPD did not do a thorough job.
And you're going to stay after this, and you're going to stay on this, right?
Definitely.
You're going to continue to ask questions. You're going to continue to dig. Will you keep me posted as to what's going on?
Sure.
And this thing that you're wanting to rally moms and dads, I assume, to stand up and not let their children go into harm's way with this hazing, with Mothers Against Hazing.
Right.
We'll put that up on drphil.com, so if people want to talk to you about that or share with you about that, it will be on the website so they can find you in that way, and you'll give us that information when we're there. I am so, so sorry for your loss, Holman. I am so sorry for your loss. Coming up, a mother whose son made headlines when he was nearly beaten to death because he was gay. Okay, we got the word out. We got it said. And do you have this organization formed as yet?
Pat Tobin.
He's accused of killing his 3 children and wife. Christian Longo appears in court tomorrow. On the news at 5, we'll preview his latest effort to get his case thrown out. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jeff Gianola. Also on the news, a popular Northwest company under investigation. The SEC says the former leaders of FLIR Systems inflated their earnings. Then at 6, the report is out on how Children's Services handled the Ashley Pond case. Find out what happens next. Tonight on KOIN 6 News, Afterlife Moments.
Do you have concerns about the air quality inside your home? Now you can test for air quality issues by using the Air Advice to monitor your indoor air. For just $39, Roth Heating will send you the Air Advice with simple instructions. The unit monitors your air for 7 days and logs the data collected. Then you receive a final report. It's affordable and easy, and will credit the $39 cost to the purchase or upgrade of an air quality system. For better air, better health, and peace of mind, call Roth Heating today.
Jimmy, I'd like it if the yard was raked before I get back.
Totino's pizza rolls are so easy. Kids can make them on their own.
I thought Mom said rake the yard.
That's what I'm doing. Here, take these outside. Big pizza flavor stuffed into a bite-sized roll. Yep. Cool.
Jimmy, how'd you do all that?
That's what? Yep. Totino's. It's how kids help themselves. Now in 2 new flavors.
You can blame it on diet, hormones, or stress. Or you can face it. You can fight it. You can do something about hereditary hair thinning now with Women's Rogaine, with the only ingredient proven to regrow hair in women. The sooner you start, the better your chance of success. So start early. Rogaine works. The sooner, the better.
Want to save some money? The new 2003 entertainment books are here with hundreds of coupons for your favorite activities. And this year, they're only $30. That's a 25% savings over last year. And you'll still get all the same great deals on restaurants, travel, entertainment, and more. Plus, by purchasing an entertainment book, you're helping local schools and community groups raise much-needed funds for their cause. To find out where to buy the new 2003 entertainment book, call 866-383-OFTC.
Hollywood's take on a possible war. Next Extra.
We're talking about headline stories that not only get your attention, but often make you ask the question, why? What is wrong with us that these things are going on in America? Joy has asked that question over and over again. Why would 2 men attack her gay son simply for hugging a friend?
On September 1st, Trev was walking home with a friend. When he was just finished hugging this young man goodbye, a car stopped and 2 men came out of that car with a baseball bat and an iron pipe, and they attacked Trev. His friend had gotten into the car, closed the door, was calling 911. Trev had been smashed on the back of the head with a blow big enough to crush his skull, and the bad guys left. Trev was then taken to the hospital. Then I was on my way to LA, and I didn't know if he was going to live. And finally, when I got up to ICU, I said, I need to know if my son is alive. And they said, he's alive. When I walked into that hospital room and saw my son lying on the bed with his head all bandaged and tubes coming, wires and tubes coming from all places, of course I cried. All we could do was pray. And so then it became this long wait. There was an amazing amount of support and love that surrounded me and family. It had spread like wildfire. This was Trev's village where he felt safe. And when this happened, that changed everything for everybody. There has been a reward. I believe it is close to $100,000. Trev is doing amazingly well. He's just been moved to rehab. This thing that is prejudice or hate or whatever it's called, that's not how I raise my son. And we've got to stop it before it spreads.
We'll be back and talk to Joy in just a minute. All right?
You know, some people get heartburn so often they need a prescription every single day. What about the rest of us? For occasional heartburn, try Pepcid first. You take it only when you need it. Take Pepcid AC when you know heartburn's coming, and stop it before it starts. Or Pepcid Complete after heartburn's already hit. It stops heartburn fast and lasts all day. No prescription required. Pepcid. Just one, and heartburn's done.
Imagine a washer from Whirlpool, grand enough to conquer 16 pairs of jeans, gentle enough to cradle clean a gown, fit for a fairy tale princess, and with the intelligence to know the difference. The Duet washer and dryer cleans more. Just imagine what you can do. Whirlpool. At Kaiser Permanente, you'll find some of the most advanced medical technology, including this sophisticated instrument. Here, listening is at the heart of quality medicine, because the doctor who listens to you gets to know you. The doctor who pays attention to your needs cares about you.
Honey, this is Dr. McNamara.
At Kaiser Permanente, you get to choose a doctor like Patricia McNamara, perhaps medicine's most sensitive listening device.
Why has the Dirt Devil Vision been the best-selling bagless upright over the last 5 years? It's powerful and easier to push and turn. But if you're looking for the ultimate bagless vacuum, check out the Platinum Vision from Dirt Devil. Only the Platinum Vision gives you all the features you want, plus a patented center dirt path that delivers more suction power than any other upright. For power you can see, get a Vision from Dirt Devil.
The station you can count on to keep you informed has created the Portland area's leading website for keeping you in touch. Coin.com has recruited an expert panel to answer the questions you have in a wide variety of categories. Want to know which RV best fits your lifestyle? Ask the experts at Ollinger Travel Homes. Want to learn more about your allergies or asthma? Ask the experts at Allergy, Asthma, and Dermatology Associates. Need to know what heating or cooling system is best for your home? Ask the experts at Roth Heating and Cooling. Ask the experts at Coin.com.
Tomorrow on Dr. Phil. It's Ask Dr. Phil Day.
I look like Robert Redford. How do we break away from that?
You're breaking my heart. They tell me I look like Jeffrey Tambor. Come on, Larry Sanders. Hey now.
How's that working for you?
Pretty well, actually.
I want my mom to have an updated look for my wedding.
I got some A-list Hollywood hairdressers. Why am I here? Talking about women's hairdos? That's tomorrow. We're talking about heartbreaking headlines. Joy's gay son was nearly beaten to death during a hate crime. And we're introducing these stories, and then we're going to follow them and keep you abreast of what's going on. I'd very much like to put the suspects' pictures up in the big screen behind us in hopes that somebody can study them. Oftentimes, these people keep a very small radius around where they live, and we just might see them, we just might find them there. So tell us how Trev is doing at this point.
He's doing quite well. He's starting in rehab because he worked out so much and ate healthily and lived very healthily. And he's young enough, you know, he was able to come through. I mean, it's just...
How is he doing cognitively in terms of his ability to think and talk and that sort of thing?
It's like each day a little bit more, and it's strange because some things he knows. It's like he can remember things. He can sing a whole, you know, lines of a song, but he can't identify ball. He doesn't get that that's a ball or a clock. I mean, he hates that clock because he can't figure out about numbers, and he doesn't even know what to call it, you know. But there's other things, like he spelled my name last night, and I was so happy, you know. Yeah. His spirit, his sense of humor is here, which is just wonderful.
Is he aware of what took place?
You know, the doctors or the nurses told me to be honest with him. You just tell him the truth, and so I've told him. Each time he asks,
that?
I don't know how much he comprehends.
Okay, so how's his mother doing?
I've had so many wonderful people helping me. I've gained a lot more. I mean, so many of his friends have become my sons, you know, and they're taking care of me.
Well, we want to get on that short list of people helping, and we want to follow this situation, and when he's up to it, we want to go and see Trev and talk to him. Bring him here. We want to do some things to help him get back on his feet. We want everybody to look at this screen and think about it. Think about what you're looking at. And we're going to put these pictures up on the website. We're going to distribute this in every way we can. And we're going to see if we can't find these guys and bring them to justice. You've heard these stories. Now I've got something to say when we come back. What a good-looking kid. Oh, man.
For even more Dr. Phil, log on to drphil.com. Sponsored in part by Chevy Impala. Performance that stirs the soul. Chevy Impala will be there.
Guests of the Dr. Phil Show stay at the Renaissance Hollywood Hotel, the destination for luxury and comfort. Just steps away from Hollywood and Highland and the star-studded Walk of Fame.
At this barbecue showdown,
coming through,
a girl can be king of the grill. And Sandy survived breast cancer. But how about a triathlon? On the next Life Moments.
Watch today at 4 on Coin 6.
Jared's here, and he's eating a hot sweet onion chicken teriyaki.
That I can't miss.
Sounds delicious.
I'm on my way. It's a hot dinner idea from Subway. Delicious tender chicken teriyaki served hot and topped with a tangy sweet onion sauce.
Hey, believe it? Wow. Look, are you ready for this? Check it out. This is exciting. Let's go.
I need a hot sweet onion chicken teriyaki, please.
Can't blame him.
Subway, eat fresh.
Come into Subway today and enjoy a hot, hearty, delicious bowl of soup with your favorite sandwich. Subway, eat fresh.
Dinner's ready.
I'll grab the pace.
With hand-picked jalapenos and crispy onions, the fresh taste of Pace salsa gives you a true Southwest experience. And let's eat.
Tomorrow, we marinate in Pace.
Ooh.
Pace. Grab the Southwest by the bottle.
Food makes life more satisfying. Weight Watchers understands that. Our Winning Points plan means you don't have to put life on a diet. You can eat any food you like, stay satisfied, and still lose weight.
Now, win a $25,000 kitchen makeover. Enter Weight Watchers Looking Good, Cooking Good sweepstakes. Join now while registration's free. Call 1-800-651-6000.
Dental assisting is an excellent career. Good pay, great benefits, and the feeling that comes with helping people. Apollo College can prepare you for success in the dental field. In as little as 9 months, you can be working in the dental office. Call Apollo College for an appointment or free video at 1-800-36-TRAIN.
Learn how far your mind can take you with Apollo College.
You set your goal.
Now you need money to make it happen.
Get the money to pay for college in the Army National Guard.
Visit us at www.1800goguard.com.
The JFK Jr. movie plus Paula with John Ritter next, DT.
If you're in LA and would like to be part of the studio audience, call us for tickets at 323-461-PHIL. That's 323-461-7445. We've been talking today about heartbreaking headlines, and my goal has been to try to take some of these stories and humanize them for all of us. I mean, we spend so much time watching sitcoms, we spend so much time just kind of mindlessly going through our days that we sometimes stop and forget that there are real people, real stories behind these headlines. I've introduced the stories to you today, and it's our intention to follow these stories and bring you more information about what we learn, what we find out. We have these two boys in Florida, 12 and 13 years old. What's happening to these boys right now? Are they sitting in some jail cell? Can they see each other? Is anybody helping them? Is anybody talking to them? Has it hit upon them at this point that for whatever reason their father is dead? Is anybody helping them with that? I want to know. In this hazing situation, we have just started school again this fall. We have thousands and thousands of kids all over America going into these fraternities, going into these sororities. Who's making the decisions? Whose judgment is it that says this is safe, this is okay? Who are you turning your children over to? We need to be asking some hard questions, and we need to do it until we get the answers. So we want to follow this tragic situation about the loss of Patricia's daughter. So we're going to keep you posted on that as well. And these hate crimes, that is not okay. That is not okay in America. You saw this great-looking young man and someone hit him in the head because he's gay. I tell you, people that do that are cowards and they're scum, and we need to find them and we need to bring them to justice, and we want to keep you up to date on that. Thanks for being here.